Good morning students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well. We have already met each other during the online interactive sessions, yes? I am Rachel Vincent, your mathematics teacher. So students, we have already completed 6 chapters and today we will be doing the 7th chapter, that is geometry. So this is the mind map for today's class. First, we will have a quick recap on the topics line, ray, point, line segment and intersecting lines. Then we will learn about angles, and under angles we will learn how to name an angle, how to measure and construct angles, and how to classify angles. Then we will learn about types of lines and polygons. We will learn about triangles in a detailed manner, that is classification of triangles on the basis of the length of the sides and the measure of the angles. Finally, we will learn about circles, its parts and construction of circle. So students, let's start the class with a quick recap on the following topics. First, point. What is a point? A point represents a fixed position that cannot be moved. It has no length, no breadth or thickness. So here we have point A, point B and point C as an example. Now what is a line? A line is made up of many points. So here we have point P, point A and point Q, and we have drawn a line across these points. A line can be extended in both the directions indefinitely. So it is difficult to measure a line, or it is impossible to measure a line. Now we can represent this line as PQ with the symbol of line above it. Next, what is a ray? A ray is a part of a line which has one fixed end, and we can increase the length of the ray from the other end. So as a line, it is difficult to measure the length of a ray as well. How do we represent a ray? A ray is represented as Mn with the symbol of a ray. Now we said that a ray has a fixed end. This fixed end is known as the initial point of a ray. Next, coming to line segments. Now, line segment is also a part of a line, but it has two fixed endpoints. So it is easy to measure a line segment. So we can represent it as AB with bar over it, or you can just directly write it as AB. Finally, what are intersecting lines? When two rays, two line segments or two lines meet at a point, they are known as intersecting lines. So here we have lines XY and AB meeting at point P. Okay students, now look at the things around you. Notice its shape and size. You notice that most of the things are in geometrical shape, like a square, a rectangle, a triangle or a circle. Here I have a book, and this book is in the shape of a rectangle. Now how is this shape formed? The shape is formed when the lines are arranged in certain angles. What are angles? Now let's understand this concept with the help of a wall clock. So here notice the hands of the clock. We have a minute hand, an hour hand and a seconds hand. Now observe the shape of the minute hand and the hour hand. They are in the shape of a ray. Yes. Now let's name these ray. So let's name the minute hand as OA and the hour hand as OB. So we can say that the hands of the clock, which we named as OA and OB, form an angle AOB. So here we have drawn an angle AOB. We can say that an angle is formed by two rays with a common initial point. Now what are these rays known as? These rays are known as the arms or sides of an angle. So here ray OA and ray OB are the arms of the angle AOB. Now what is the initial point known as? The initial point of an angle is known as the vertex of an angle. So here O is the vertex of an angle AOB. We all have a name for ourselves. We identify others or different places by their name. Yes? If someone asks you, in which school do you study? You answer them by mentioning the name of your school, that is Divine Providence School. Similarly, we can name the angles too. Now, we all have many names for us, yes? Similarly, we can name the angles in several ways. Here we have 3 ways of naming an angle. The first way is by using 3 capital letters. We have drawn an angle and we have used the capital letters P, Q and R. So, I can name this angle as angle PQR or angle RQP. I can name it in any order. But you have to be careful that you have to mention the name of the vertex in the center. The second way is by using a single letter, that is the letter of the vertex. So, I can name this angle as angle B. The third way is by using small letters or by numbers. So, here we can represent this angle as angle D and this angle as angle 1. We know that length is measured in meters, centimeters or kilometers and quantity is measured in liters, milliliters, kilograms or grams. Now, how do we measure angles? Angles are measured in a unit called degree and it is measured with the help of a protractor. Okay students, this is a protractor. This is the edge of the protractor and a straight line along the edge is known as the baseline. The curved edge of the protractor has 2 curved lines which are called as inner scale and outer scale. The inner scale is marked from 0 to 180 degrees from right to left and the outer curve is marked from 0 to 180 degree from left to right. As you can see, there are divisions on the edge and each division represents 1 degree. So, when we calculate the degree or the measure of an angle, we do it by counting the number of degrees between 2 rays. And while counting the number of degrees, we read the markings on the inner scale. So, students, now let's learn how to measure an angle using a protractor. Here I have drawn a freehand angle XYZ. So, now I will measure this angle. First, you have to keep a protractor and while keeping the protractor, you have to see that the center lies on the vertex Y and the base line lies upon the arm YZ. So, once you have placed the protractor, now we will count the number of degrees up to the ray YX. So, when we count, we see that ray YX comes up to 60 degrees. So, we can say that angle XYZ is equal to 60 degrees. There are various schools in and around our neighborhood and these schools are classified on the basis of the board they follow like CBSE, ICSE or State Board. Angles are also classified into groups and the classification depends upon the measure of the angle. So, there are 6 types of angles. Let's learn about them one by one. First is acute angle. An angle whose measure is more than 0 degree but less than 90 degree is called an acute angle. Next is a right angle. An angle whose measure is equal to 90 degree is called a right angle. Third is obtuse angle. An angle whose measure is more than 90 degree but less than 180 degree is known as an obtuse angle. Next we have straight angle. An angle whose measure is equal to 180 degree is known as a straight angle. Next is a reflex angle. An angle whose measure is more than 180 degree but less than 360 degree is known as a reflex angle. Finally, we have a complete angle. An angle whose measure is equal to 360 degree is known as a complete angle. We learned about different types of angles. Now, let's represent the types of angles on a clock. So, here the time is 2 o'clock. The angle formed is an acute angle. Now, at 3 o'clock, the angle formed is a right angle that is equal to 90 degrees. Now, let's see which angle is formed at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, an obtuse angle is formed. with what angle will be formed at 6 o'clock? A straight angle will be formed at 6 o'clock. Here is 7 o'clock. So what is the angle formed at 7 o'clock? The angle formed at 7 o'clock is a reflex angle. Now, if the time is 12 o'clock, which angle is formed? A complete angle is formed at 12 o'clock. So students, when you are classifying the angles on the basis of the types, you have to notice the arms of the angle in a clockwise direction, that is from right to left. We have learned how to measure an angle. Now, let's learn how to construct an angle. Here, we have a question which says, construct angle PQR equals to 75 degree. So, the measure of the angle is 75 degree, which means it is an acute angle. First, you can make a rough sketch of the angle in your rough column. So, here is a rough sketch of angle PQR. So, first you need a ruler. With the ruler, you will make the ray QR. So, place the ruler on your notebook and draw a straight line and name it as ray QR. The next step is that you have to place the protractor on the ray QR. Now, place the protractor in such a way that the center of the protractor lies upon Q and the base line of the protractor lies upon the ray QR. Now, let's count up to 75 degree. 20, 40, 60, 70 and 75. Mark a point against the degree 75. Now, with the help of a ruler, join this point with Q. Now, once you have joined the point, name this ray as PQ. So, we have formed an angle of 75 degree. In your previous classes, you have learned about intersecting lines. Today, we learn about three new types of lines, that are coplanar lines, perpendicular lines and parallel lines. So, let's start with coplanar lines. Imagine this entire green board as a single plane. So, all the lines that lie in one plane are known as coplanar lines. For example, line PQ and line AB. Now, what are parallel lines? Two lines in a plane that can never intersect each other are known as parallel lines, and the distance between two parallel lines remains constant. So, here we have two lines MN and XY. They are parallel lines. Now, this is a symbol used to represent parallel lines. So, we can write it as MN is parallel to XY. Third, we have perpendicular lines. What are perpendicular lines? When two lines intersect each other at 90 degrees or right angle, they are known as perpendicular lines. This is a symbol used to represent perpendicular lines. So, we can say that AB is perpendicular to CD. Now, in perpendicular lines, if one angle is a right angle, all other angles will also be equal to 90 degree. We come across many things of different shapes. Amongst them, the shapes which are made up of three or more line segments that do not cross each other are known as polygons. Here we have a table representing different types of polygons. Now, how are polygons classified? Polygons are classified on the basis of the number of sides they have. So, this table represents the polygons triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon and nonagon. Let's talk about triangle. A triangle has three sides and three vertices. A quadrilateral has four sides and four vertices. Square and rectangle are examples of quadrilateral. Next we have pentagon. A pentagon has 5 sides as well as 5 vertices. Next we have hexagon. Hexagon has 6 sides and 6 vertices. Next we have heptagon. Heptagon has 7 sides and 7 vertices. Next we have octagon. Octagon has 8 sides as well as 8 vertices. Finally, we have nonagon. Nonagon has 9 sides and 9 vertices. We will learn about triangles in much more detail. So as mentioned earlier, a triangle is a polygon that is made up of 3 line segments. So here we have a triangle XYZ. A triangle is made up of 3 sides, 3 angles and 3 vertices. Now in triangle XYZ, the sides are XY, YZ and ZX. The 3 angles are angle X, angle Y and angle Z. And the 3 vertices are X, Y and Z. A triangle is denoted by this symbol. Now we have named this triangle as XYZ. You can also name this triangle as YZX or ZXY or XZY or ZYX. The order doesn't matter. Now we will learn about how to classify triangles. Triangles are classified on 2 bases. First is on the basis of the length of the side and second is on the basis of the measure of the angles. When we classify triangles on the basis of the length of their sides, there are 3 types of triangle: equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle and scalene triangle. First, let's talk about equilateral triangle. A triangle is known as an equilateral triangle when all the sides are equal. So here we have triangle ABC. So AB is equal to BC, which is equal to AC. In an equilateral triangle, all the angles are equal to each other. So here angle A is equal to angle B, which is equal to angle C. And all these angles are equal to 60 degree. Just think, why are the angles equal to 60 degree? It could have been any number, right? You will find the answer to this question as we move ahead with the chapter. Now let's talk about isosceles triangle. In an isosceles triangle, 2 sides are equal to each other. Here, AB is equal to AC. Also, the angles opposite to the equal sides of an isosceles triangle are equal. So here, angle B is opposite to the side AC and angle C is opposite to the side AB. So angle B is equal to angle C. Third, we have scalene triangle. A triangle where all the sides are of different measurements are known as scalene triangle. So AB is not equal to side BC, which is not equal to side AC. Now since the sides are unequal to each other, the angles are also unequal. So angle A is unequal to angle B, which is further unequal to angle C. Can we form a triangle with any 3 given measurements? No. There is a rule that states that the sum of the length of 2 smaller sides should be greater than the length of the third side. So here we have 3 measurements: 5 cm, 4 cm and 3 cm. Now let's check, can we form a triangle from these 3 measurements? So as mentioned earlier, we have to take the sum of the 2 smaller sides. So here we have 4 and 3. We'll add them. Sum of 4 and 3 is 7 cm, which is greater than the third side, that is 5 cm. So we can form a triangle out of these 3 measurements. Now let's learn about classification of triangles on the basis of the measure of the angles. Now under this classification, there are 3 types of triangles: acute angle triangle, right angle triangle and obtuse angle triangle. Let's learn about acute angle triangle. In an acute angle triangle, all the angles are acute angles, that is, they are less than 90 degree. So here we have triangle PQR and all the angles, angle P, angle Q and angle R are less than 90 degree. Let's go to right angle triangle. A triangle in which any one of the angles is equal to 90 degree. Here in triangle PQR, angle Q is equal to 90 degree, that is, angle Q is a right angle. Next we have obtuse angle triangle. In an obtuse angle triangle, any one of the angle will be obtuse angle. That is, it will be more than 90 degree but less than 180 degree. So here we have angle Q is equal to 140 degree, that is obtuse angle. In the beginning we learned about straight angle, that is equal to 180 degree. Now let's form a link between the straight angle and the angles of a triangle. Here we have drawn a triangle PQR. Angle P is equal to 70 degree, angle Q is equal to 30 degree and angle R is equal to 80 degree. Now let's place these angles upon this straight line. First let's place angle P. Now let's place angle Q. Finally, we will place angle R. So we notice that the combination of all these angles fit completely upon this straight line, or we can say that angle P plus angle Q plus angle R is equal to 180 degree. That is, angle P plus angle Q plus angle R is equal to 180 degree. So when the sum of all the angles come up to 180 degree, we can form a triangle from these angles. Now is the question clear which we had when we were learning about equilateral triangles? There all the angles were equal to 60 degree. Why? Because 60 plus 60 plus 60 sums up to 180 degree. That is the requirement to form a triangle. There are various objects around us in the shape of a circle. For example, coins, tires, wall clocks, etc. A circle is a closed curve which has numerous points at an equal distance from a fixed point. Now, this fixed point is known as the center of the circle. So, here center of the circle is O. Now, what is the circumference? The length of the curved surface is known as the circumference of the circle. The perimeter of a circle is also called as circumference of a circle. Next we have radius. What is the radius? The distance between the center of the circle and any point on the circumference of the circle is known as the radius. For example, OB. OB is the radius of this circle. There can be many number of radius. Radii is a plural of radius. Next we have diameter. Now what is a diameter? A diameter is 2 times of a radius. Similar to radius, there can be many number of diameters. A diameter divides a circle into 2 equal halves and each part is known as a semicircle. Next we have chord. A chord is the distance between any 2 points on the circumference of a circle passing through the center, or they may not pass through the center. For example, DF is a chord for a circle. Also, CH can be a chord for the circle. CH passes through the center. Now you might say that CH can also be called a diameter. Yes, CH is also a diameter. So, the diameter is the longest chord for a circle. Next we have arc. An arc is a part of the curved surface of a circle. So, here we can say that AIH is an arc for this entire circle, or we can also say that ADH is an arc for this circle. Now, what are interior and exterior of a circle? Okay, so the area inside the circumference of a circle is known as the interior of the circle, and the area outside the circumference of a circle is known as the exterior of a circle. Okay, now let's learn how to construct a circle. For construction of a circle, you require a compass, a ruler and a pencil. So here we have the question which says, construct a circle of radius 15 centimeter. You have to take care of the measurement given as radius of a circle. So first, you will take the ruler and the compass. You will place the ruler on your notebook and then you will place the needle of the compass at 0 and you will place the pencil at 15 centimeter on the ruler. So you have opened the compass wide apart according to the measurement given in the question. Now you will place the needle part on your notebook like this, and you will gently move the pencil like this. So when you move the pencil, a circle is formed. After this, you will mark the center as O, and you will take the ruler and mark a point on the circumference of the circle. You can give any name to this point, for example A. So here OA is the radius of this circle and OA is 15 centimeter. So students, in this video we learnt about angles, under which we learned how to name angles, how to measure and construct angles, and how to classify angles on the basis of their measure. Next we learned about types of lines, that are coplanar lines, parallel lines and perpendicular lines. We also learned about few polygons, their sides and their vertices. Next we learned about triangles. We learned about triangles in detail, that is, we learned about their parts. We learned how to classify triangles based upon the length of the measure of their sides and upon the measure of the angles. And lastly, we learned about the relation between the angles of a triangle and a straight angle. Finally, we learned about circles. Under circles, we learned about parts of circle, and we learned how to construct a circle using a ruler and a compass. Thank you students. Have a great day.